A few weeks back, I made lists of the top 5 attackers and defenders in Rainbow Six Siege, so it's only natural that I talk about some of the worst operators in the game. However, unlike those videos, this is not a top 5 because I generally believe that in terms of balance, Siege is in a very good spot right now, and there's only really 4 operators that I can think off the top of my head that I think could be argued to be completely useless. But I'm not going to bore you with that any longer, and let's officially start this list starting with number 4. Officially starting the list with Blitz. Blitz is a 2-speed 2 armor that can fulfill the role as an entry fragger and map control, and he comes with only one primary option, which is technically his gadget. It's a tactical shield that comes with a flashbang attached to it, and you wouldn't believe how many counters there are to this thing. If a defender somehow gets close up to you, they can melee your shield, and Blitz for some reason will put his shield to his left, exposing your head and your entire body for it to be shot. But that really doesn't matter because they can throw any type of explosive at you, and Blitz will either put his shield away again, or you will just die to the explosive. So, what is the point in the shield, really? And the flashbang barely does anything as well, because if you're in the range of a mute jammer, you can't activate your gadget because guess what? It's electronic, and now that Warden is one of the more popular operators in the game, whether it's console or PC, good luck even trying to blind anyone. And by the way, as you just saw with the gameplay, if you try to melee with the shield, they will just automatically go down. So then you have to melee again or use your P12 handgun to finish the job. Now you can kind of use him from roam clearing, but again, impacts and explosives are very effective against Blitz. And guess what? Every roamer, I swear to God, has an impact grenade, so there is no reason to run Blitz. I'm going to be honest, if you're in a low rank, you may as well just pick Blitz because they're not going to know how easy it is to counter him. And that's probably why he's number 4, because some people just don't realize that this guy is not really effective at all, and that's why he even has kills to begin with. Coming in at number 3 will certainly shock some silver players, and that is Caveira. And I specifically say these silver players because for some reason those lower ranks just hate going against Cav for some reason. Again, probably with Blitz, they don't realize how easy it is to counter her, so hopefully I can make you realize. Her gadget is she raises her left hand and apparently her feet are completely quiet for some reason. That to this day I will never understand why people say this game was realistic to begin with. But that part doesn't really matter because apparently you can still hear her if it is quiet enough. And granted, in a traditional round when people are giving callouts and there's a lot of gunfire, you're not going to really hear Cab with her more muffled footsteps, but the fact that an ability that is supposed to make you quiet doesn't make you quiet, it's kind of bad in my opinion. And also, her biggest counter is one of the easiest mechanics in the entire game to learn. And that easy mechanic is using your drones. I don't know why people don't use their drones. It is a very good mechanic, and it gives you free information. I don't know why people don't use it. By just hearing the gadget, you can tell that this operator is dedicated to roaming. However, she cannot really do that because, again, when the attackers are trying to roam clear operators, they are going to be using their drones. And Cav basically can't do anything about it. She can't hold down an area because, again, once you get droned out, they're probably going to pre-fire you back to year 1. And yes, she can successfully rotate because she does come with the impact grenades, which are pretty good at making rotates, but again, that's really one of her only benefits. But one cool thing about Cav is she is one of the only operators that come with a passive ability. If an attacker gets downed by any means, Caveira can go up to that down attacker and perform what's known as an interrogation. After the long animation is done, then any other attackers that are still alive will be revealed for a short period. And Caveira can consistently down people with her Louisiane pistol. I think that's how you pronounce it at least. Which against most of the attackers will automatically down them after 2 shots. And it does not matter where you hit them, they will automatically go down. So yes, Cav's pistol is technically the only gun in the entire game that will not one-shot headshot. In fact, if you do manage to get a headshot with this gun, they will just instantly go down. And I'm gonna be honest, this entire ability is not really that good because you should theoretically not even be getting interrogated to begin with, because the attackers are usually in a group together. And while her Spatch 15 shotgun is a pretty good shotgun, her M12 SMG is probably worse than the UMP, I'm gonna be honest. Also, if you want a roamer, just play Oryx, Vigil, or Solus. They are so much better. And we have gotten to the point where I honestly think these next 2 operators are completely useless, and you should not be running them at all. And coming in at number 2 is Blackbird, and y'all shouldn't really be surprised that he's here. And I'm going to talk about his guns because they are some of the worst in the game. Not only does he come with a mediocre at best DMR, but he also comes with one of the worst ARs in the entire game, potentially the worst AR in the entire game. But a redeeming quality of his loadout is that he does come with the Deagle, and the Deagle is always fun in every game that it's featured in, so, that's his one redeeming quality, I guess. However, another kind of redeeming quality of Blackbird is he does come with the EMP impacts and flash grenade, which are always pretty good secondary gadgets. However, concerning the fact that everything else about Blackbird is so bad, there's almost no reason to run him for these aspects, especially if you're talking about his gadget. But finally talking about his gadget, which is the rifle shield. That is a shield that you can attach to your weapon, and it protects you from one single headshot. That's it. That's the entire gadget. What am I supposed to say here? Yes, I understand he comes with 2 of the shields, but every gun in the entire game can one-shot it, and it's just not a fun gadget to use at all. There's no cool interactive abilities that you can have with Brava, or there's no useful ways or tactical ways to use it by destroying a wall or some piece of utility with Flores. There's nothing special about this gadget at all. But one thing I will say is that his AR, which is obviously, as you can see by the gameplay, is just a scar that you can find in any other game, is pretty fun to use, even if you're not running extended barrel, because, it feels like a scar. And that's it. That's all I have to say about Blackbird, and I can safely say that he is the second most useless operator in this entire game, only outclassed by number 1. And finally, coming at the number 1 spot is, to no one's surprise, Grimm. Now, you probably heard all over the internet about Grimm being useless, he needs buffs, there is no reason to run him, yada yada. But to be fair, that's kind of warranted because of his terrible gadget. Grimm's gadget is the Qui-Han Launcher, which is a pretty cool name, and it comes with 5 rounds of erotic bees. And what it's supposed to do is, once a defender goes in the radius, it's meant to detect him, but as you can see by the gameplay, it activates so slow that the mute is able to just simply walk up to me. Now, let's say a defender somehow gets into the radius of the bees for some godforsaken reason, and if they're right dab in the middle of it, they will basically have a lion scan minus the wall hacks. But the second they leave the radius of the bees, because it doesn't last that long, they will be pinged every 5 seconds, and then after that, they will be pinged yet again, but it will take longer each time. And do I really need to say anything here, guys? Its main use is to clear Jaeger ADSs or any other utility denial operators, and if you have to use your primary gadget for that, it's useless. I don't know what to tell you. It is a terrible gadget. And from what I understand, Ubisoft has confirmed that Grimm is going to receive a gadget rework in Year 8, so that's pretty good. And so now you may be thinking, what about for his guns? Well, he comes with a 5.52 commando, but just use IQ. That's it. That's all I have to say about Grimm's guns. Well, I will say his shotgun option is pretty good, but again, you're on attack, it's not really that useful. And he does come with a solid handgun, and he does also come with the same secondary gadgets as IQ, so there is literally no reason to run this operator whatsoever. Now, I will say that this is a quick overlook of some of these operators, and if you want kind of a more detailed guide, I have covered 3 of these operators in my operator how-to guides. And admittedly, I have not covered Cav yet, and I just haven't gotten around to her yet, I'm going to be honest. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and say that's the end of the video. If you like what I make, I appreciate it if you subscribe. And with all that said, I hope you have a good day or a good night, and goodbye.